This is Jordan Peterson, and this is his daughter, Mikhaila. A few days ago, Mikhaila mentioned me in a video about her father's declining health.
I don't even want to mention this really because I don't want to give it any attention, but some journalist online reached out to me trying to pin dad's symptoms on stem cell treatments, which is so dumb it's hard to fathom. And I responded, which was stupid.
It seems to me that Mikhaila did not watch my report. If she had, she would know that I was investigating Peterson's relationship and promotion of Adeel Khan's deadly stem cell clinic to the stars, but that I concluded, based on my conversation with her, that Khan was not the immediate cause of her father's deteriorating condition. According to Mikhaila, whatever complications arose are most likely not directly related to Khan's expanded network of high-end celebrity clinics. But what stands out here is that the Petersons are still incredibly devoted to the speculative and experimental treatment pathways. Instead, over the course of that series, I provided evidence that Khan was, in fact, getting many celebrities sick, even giving Kim Kardashian fake stem cells.
It is a discontinued product. It's not from us. It has never been from MCI.
While also hospitalizing Justin Baldoni and Mark Hyman.
Because I almost died.
Mikhaila, however, did not seem concerned with that. Instead, she was reacting to my reporting by attempting to slander my reputation, and for that matter, the reputation of everyone in the journalism profession.
And I responded, which was stupid. You should just never respond to a journalist.
And look, I wasn't going to respond to this, even when people started flooding in my comment sections with requests to enter into the fray, because frankly, it doesn't matter to me how professional grifters try to bypass reality. But then I listened to more of what she had to say, and I realized that the real point of her video was, in fact, to gin up engagement for a repugnant anti-scientific health plan that was almost definitely going to get people sick. In fact, she was using her father's illness to grift her way into profiting off of health misinformation, including 2 new websites and a research foundation that will undoubtedly drive her millions of followers into a conspiracy-laden rabbit hole of supplements and fad diets that ultimately is meant to funnel money into her own pocket. It's a case that sort of reminds me of Munchausen's by Proxy with a Grifty add-on onto it, where this very misinformation is probably making her father sicker. See if you can catch where her own description of her father's treatment protocols start to go off the rails.
Dad had stem cell IVs over the years a couple times to see if they can help with neurological pins and needles and pain and like sensitivities and things. And I had mentioned in one of my videos that last summer in June, he had a stem cell IV from a specialist. This is a specialist I don't know. He was like hooked up with him from one of his friends, a great specialist, but it's not someone I'm connected to. He stayed in a moldy hotel for that treatment, and that brought back symptoms. It wasn't the stem cell IV. He's had hordes of those. And trying to link the stem cell IV in June to sepsis from pneumonia in October is insane.
That's right. She's admitting that her father was seeking out stem cell treatments that were recommended to him and her by one of her friends, which she actually told me in an email was Tony Robbins, and that while seeking those stem cell treatments, his symptoms came back. But rather than attribute the worsening of his condition to the medical intervention that he was actually taking, she instead blamed it on mold in his hotel room at the same time. Now, I want to be clear. I don't think that she's lying. I think she really believes what she's saying. And that is even more terrifying than just a simple grift. Because this is a special kind of clinical blindness that I feel is endemic in the wide world of wellness. No matter what information someone like Mikhaila is presented with, they will myopically double down on their own worldview instead of considering other possible explanations. After stating that her father had taken hordes of stem cell treatments during that time period where he has been getting increasingly sick, and that somehow the carnivore diet was helping him despite his condition deteriorating over time, it's surprising to me that she wouldn't at least consider whether the alternative treatments they have been pursuing for the better part of 2 decades could be contributing to their persistent health problems. Or as I said in my video about Peterson that, again, she did not watch, Peterson's trip through poorly regulated and mostly unaccountable clinics didn't stop at Kahn's brew of stem cells and peptides and fecal transplants and exosomes, but extended into a network of off-book doctors that originate ultimately from celebrity recommendations, not medical experts. Peterson has seen so many doctors that she has had a hard time keeping track of them all. Her father's ultimate admission to a hospital for pneumonia and sepsis is, at the very least, a testament to the fact that, just like the mainstream interventions that failed him, the experimental ones did too. And this is maybe the real story here. It's one thing to point to one potentially bad actor in a space that is barely regulated. It's another to explore an entire regenerative medical industry that maintains a veneer of medical credibility and shiny glass offices, while it has no accountability outside of whether or not its services create a reliable stream of revenue. For the Petersons, the root cause of their illness is a basket of ill-defined sources that roughly correspond with a distrust of government and medical authorities, like psychological medications.
In my opinion, psych med injuries and psych meds as a whole should be considered a national emergency, given 1 in 6 Americans, or possibly more depending on the stat, is on one of these medications, and long-term use appears to cause mitochondrial dysfunction that manifests as a neurological injury.
Or vaguely defined relationships between mold and mitochondria.
Mold causes mitochondria to hibernate to protect themselves and shut down, which causes this weird array of symptoms.
And when those explanations fail, she's also comfortable resorting to supernatural explanations.
I do think our family has been attacked spiritually because I cannot understand the level of suffering that I've been through, let alone my dad's been through, and my whole family, without it making more sense through a spiritual lens. Oh, thank God I'm a Christian.
Somehow, all of these random seeming causes can be resolved, at least in part, by sticking to her strict all-meat diet that she promotes on countless websites and all across her YouTube channel.
And a ketogenic diet gives mitochondria an alternate fuel that helps them heal and helps them work, which is why it's so massively useful and why we're just eating meat.
I don't think I need to break down why this logic is so incredibly bankrupt. The through line is a general distrust of authority and scientific knowledge in favor of idiosyncratic hodgepodges of magical thinking. And yet somehow she is also simultaneously surprised that her own treatments are failing to fix her own problems.
I suffered quite a bit, even on the paleo and ketogenic diet during that 2.5 year period. So the akathisia and the bad psych med injury symptoms felt like I was overwhelmed with a sense of impending doom that was stronger than anything you can naturally feel. And I know
she ends her long explanation of how to fix big pharma and chronic illness with an announcement of a new website called Prescribed Harm, as well as a research foundation which for some reason is registered in Wyoming while she lives in Arizona, which is called the Fuller Research Foundation. These sites link to various taper clinics and ketogenic diet resources that could well have a financial relationship with the Petersons. The sites are a repository for her to collect anecdotes from her audience that support her conclusions that spread the same slurry of fear that she promotes across her channel, with no systematic analysis of any of it. And yet, when you zoom out to the larger context throughout all of her videos, there is a through line that's spoken time and again about the way she has suffered through chronic illness. She is bipolar, riddled with anxiety and arthritis, and has even suffered the same akathisia as her father after she got off psychiatric medication. By her own admission, she is one of the least overall healthy people I've ever come across. Her father is in the exact same bucket. They are struggling to get anywhere near a semblance of health, and yet this is what she uses to tell you that you should follow her health advice because she knows better than the experts, because she failed at fixing her own health issues. In other words, Mikhaila has posted a video that explicitly grifts off her father's illness and his internet fame to sell you her own branded misinformation pipeline that will keep her employed should he eventually pass away from the ailments that so far his experimental treatments have failed to cure. And that is really all I have to say about Mikhaila Peterson's video right now. From Fox News Inc. in Denver, Colorado, this was Scott Carney Investigates.